I will start with a brief presentation, or rather introduction, or even our joint chat about the open science, how it goes nowadays, if it works in practice or not really, and how we can implement to our work, to our studies, or to River University we are creating together. So briefly, what I will move through, it will be like, what is an open science? Obviously, in every aspect of presentation, you can comment or you can share your experience with open science, because we have quite a plenty of scientists here. What actually is the River University, and the main element how we can ensure this open science within our field, river ecology, possibly in true involvement in River University, because that's the aim, to help you and help the field itself. So here we will have some river experience. This is video made by one of participants, Agnieszka Czajka. She's sitting. Can you show yourself? That's from the last River University we held in Lithuania. And that was like the experience, video experience from canoeing on the Ula River. Agnieszka did. So I just wanted to remind us about these beautiful rivers we can not only learn about from books, but just to experience. And I think personally it's the best way. Yes, I think all as we are here, we like or love rivers. We work towards their best condition, also towards the benefits of people and the safety. In theory, we know that science can advance only when the results are shared or the experience is shared with others. But still, I think the researchers are tends to be quite skeptical about sharing, or they are afraid, or they have some fears that they will be criticized. So perhaps that's the question to you. Perhaps it's going good, this open science, but maybe not. I know the cases that maybe not. We could also hear from the experience of this Estonian Russian project about the water management, that there was some difficulties as well within the data. So I think that's a quite good example in this topic. I think still the collaboration is the best way to get the benefits from research we do, from the work we do for the rivers. It's quite a lot of things to collaborate. Obviously, this is kind of mountain, but I think if the will is there, it's possible to share. It's possible to achieve this mountain. And again, in theory, open leaders, I mean we here, design, build, empower our projects, our work, our initiatives, also communities we are in, for understanding, sharing, participation and inclusion. That's the theory. Again, the question to you will be, what is in practice? Like, if the theory works in reality? Yes. Do we do this? Do we, for example, design for like sharing for do we have this information sharing focus, or do we build our initiative, our projects for as a being helpful for decision making, for example, or do we empower for making connections not only for myself, for yourself, but a bit wider? Stay here so you can briefly read. I won't go through all the paper. And what actually means the open science? It can be, as you know, I think, it can be expressed by sharing data in technical sciences like source codes, obviously papers, protocols, reviews, definitely results, the earlier the better. I'm mostly focused on the last three. That means the sharing knowledge by training. That's why we are here, and that's why the River University was created. Collaborating with public openly, that's again one of the aims of River University. So we invite the wide range of participants, not sticking to like scientific bubble, yes? And obviously supporting and connecting those who are staying in the field of river ecology. Again, that's what we are here. And we work in different branches of the river field. Yes, and we can also say something about open data, fair data. The question to you, it's do we know the definition, or do we know like just brief answer what actually open data is, if anyone can express the knowledge?
Systematize information in proper machine readable formats. So it's not just like a file with written text, it's like somehow systematize it. Use it for free, and it's open for everyone.
All right.
Results of our research, but also this is also a input data.
So yes, that the data that can be freely used, reused, that's also important, redistributed by other users. In comparison, there is also something like fair data, which are like findable, accessible, interoperable, and obviously again reusable. And fair means, I think that's really important, thinking about the other people who could not only use but benefit from my data. And fair is not the equivalent of open, but open needs to be fair, to be like in the circle, to be useful. To achieve this fair and open, we need to have the more detailed, the better contextual information and description about. Because I think we all care about the ethics, not only academical. I think I think we know that being fair in life and at work pays off. At least that's my attitude. So in terms of being fair and open, what we need to actually do, what steps are needed. What was already said, like the deposit the data where the others can find it. So in accessible, well-known places, via standard means and channels, explaining what the data are about, because sometimes we have the assumptions that other people obviously know because we know, but that's not the truth. Yet availability, including the ownership and provenance descriptions are also needed. Some instructions in terms of what's allowed, what's not, clear licenses indication. Yes, the access condition. If someone needs the authorization, authentication. Yes, the description ideally should be in the way which is understandable for other users. So by agreed terminology and vocabulary which is used in the field, so everyone understands. Formats of the files, I think they are important too in this case. Yes, and the earlier the better, that we know, and I think that's the experience of open access, that if you publish the data area, that's the better for the others as well. Yes, and the question to you, like learning and working with rivers, I was preparing this. I was quite curious how the open science is nowadays. That means, is this really work in reality or just this still a concept? How is your experience? Because that's, for example, that's the article from 1992, which shouts about that's the growing inaccessibility of science. So that's the, if you have experience, please free to express. I'm quite curious how it works nowadays.
From my experience, I would say that it's easy, relatively easy to access, but the system is not really fair and going the proper direction.
Okay, so still something to work on, kind of. And this video, by the way, is also made by Agnieszka Czajka from Lithuanian River University. So we had really good experience with living rivers, not channelized. And in terms of open science, you obviously know that there is this EU open science policy. So I would say there is some support kind of from this side. But as Piotr says, that it perhaps still needs some more clarification on or easy way to work with, to implement it in reality. And just briefly about the River University. The aim of River University was to create like open and international interdisciplinary as well, the place, which is not actually the place because we are moving, which is sharing the river freshwater knowledge to wide range of participants. I mean here like river stakeholders, because we are. We started in Baltic Sea region and the most focus is on that. But we slightly start to spread for the whole Europe, so let's see how it will go. Obviously, River University is collaborating with existing university, like TalTech University, which Maret comes from. So we wouldn't be here if not the cooperation with the local hosts, national hosts in particular countries. So they are crucial for that. The value I see, and I would like to see also, of the River University is the contribution to the improvement of Baltic Sea region condition in terms of water. Obviously, it's some environmental stewardship. For me, it's important this shared sense of responsibility for our rivers, for water management, for those who are responsible, of course. Support for the official education, because it's not always the most actual one, the official. So at least we try to support it by the newest legislation, the newest river initiative you can join. And you can see the countries we already visited. So we started in Poland, then Lithuania, and now we are in Estonia. That's the timeline so far of River University. So the pilot I did in Poland 2018 with on the topic on large investments on the rivers and particularly this inland navigation. Because, for example, for Poland and neighboring countries, that's quite a large issue now. Then we moved, unfortunately, in COVID time, to the river continuity, healthy rivers, restoration topic, then river basin management, and we got to know the Lithuanian rivers. Now we are with flood risk management in Estonia. Don't ask me yet what will be next, we will see. And obviously, if you have any proposals or ideas, I'm open, and generally we are open, so it's for you and according also to the appearing needs. These are some universities we cooperated so far in the previous editions. So you can see some from Poland, some from Germany, Lithuanian, obviously. Sometimes the cooperation is more or less advanced with like national authorities or water management, but that depends on country, obviously. It's not happening always. So the next university from Estonia will be added to this list. This is to show you how wide range we have in terms of the participants from different countries. That's the statistics from 2020. So you can see, and these are like, this was the online edition. In terms of sector they represented. So we can see that non-governmental organizations, science, and like institutional sector were quite well represented. I think in Estonia we have the larger, the science is the most represented. Yes, and that's I finished the presentation with that open question because that was the purpose. Do we meet our aim? One question is for you to make the river science more open, understandable for each other, and also for citizens, because I think that there is still a gap between the science knowledge and the perception of the citizens, society. For me and for you also, to make the River University more helpful in this case, even more open, if we can be more open, more connecting our environments, our different environments we work, and just some brief pictures from the last edition. So you will know that you also will be here on the pictures. I think from Lithuania, our nice, joyful experience with rivers, and I think that the best experience is this playful in reality with river behind or being in the river. That's all from me.